Things we're going to talk about over the next several minutes are ARIN organization and staff, our activities, some regional news, membership, statistics, ARIN's community interaction, and some priorities that ARIN has over the near future. To start off with organization and staff, ARIN has 1,056 members, a board of trustees with 6 voting members, an advisory council with 15 members, a president and an executive assistant with 4 different departments. First department listed here is Registration Services Group, where we have a Registration Services Manager, 3 Senior IP Analysts, and 4 IP Analysts to process requests for address space, AS numbers, and things of the sort. We have a Member Services Group with a Membership Coordinator, a Webmaster, and a Technical Writer. An engineering group with a manager, 4 software engineers, a sysadmin and a database administrator, and an administration department with a business manager and 2 accounting assistants, for a total of 23 staff members at ARIN. Here is a map of ARIN's region and the other current regions. I just wanted to show you this map to point out that ARIN is here in green, and there are 2 forming regional internet registries that may start up operations over the next year. One of those regional internet registries would be called LACNIC, and everything starting with Mexico South would be in LACNIC's region, so ARIN would no longer have that territory in our region. And also, AFRINIC will be starting up, and everything in green there on the continent of Africa will no longer be under ARIN's region. ARIN activities, of course, we register IPv4 address space and IPv6 address space, AS numbers. We run a registration call center. We manage reverse delegation for the allocations that we've made. We do database maintenance for the records in our database, have a routing registry, and we hold twice a year public policy and member meetings. Some regional news about our most recent public policy meeting in April of this year is that we revised our fees for registration upgrades. Currently we have 4 registration levels for ISP organizations, small, medium, large, and extra large, that I'm sure most of you are familiar with. It's been so in the past that an organization in the middle of an anniversary year that moved from one size category to the next, say from a small to a medium, would need to pay the difference in registration fees before they could receive their IP numbers that they were approved for. We've done away with that, and now the only time that you need to pay registration fees is once a year during your anniversary date. And if you receive an allocation mid-year that moves you from one registration level to the next, we don't make you wait for your accounting department to actually make that payment for you to receive your numbers. We make the allocation right away. We also increased our maximum allocation size from a /14 to a /13. There were many organizations within our region that were utilizing more than a /14 in a 3-month time frame. So that we could still make allocations based on their 3-month needs, we increased the maximum allocation size to a /13. We also made some changes to the information that we require on SWIP templates. There are a lot of organizations providing DSL services to residential customers nowadays, where perhaps a /29 or shorter prefix may be required, or for other services like ISDN or the sort. And there were some concerns about privacy issues, where an individual's home's postal address would be in ARIN's WHOIS database. We've changed our policy as a result of the public policy meeting in April, so that organizations do not have to report their customers' postal address information in our database. That's for their residential customers. And you can find more information out about that at the URL listed here in red, where our minutes are located from the last meeting. Also, we talked about ARIN training. I think that issue was first brought up at the last analog. Someone made comment that they would like to see ARIN get more involved in training. So we talked about that at the last public policy meeting. And you can also read about that in the minutes, but some of the things that we talked about were ARIN offering training to the community, say an ISP consortium in a state or a group of ISPs in a state wanted ARIN to come on site to do some training. We may do that in the future. We ask people to send in requests when they actually do want some sort of training about the registry process. And to date, since the April meeting, I don't think we've received any yet. April meeting minutes again, or let's see here. ARIN membership, like I said before, we currently have 1,056 members. 86% of those members are in the United States of America, 9% are in Canada, 1% are in Southern Africa, 3% in Latin America region, and 1% is listed as other. Now this 1,056 membership, there are two different types of members for ARIN. We have subscribers. Those are organizations that have subscriptions with ARIN. They receive address space from ARIN. And then we also leave our membership open to organizations that do not qualify to receive address space from ARIN but wish to be members, and we allow them to do that as well. So that 1% other consists of mostly European organizations. Okay, now some statistics. AS numbers issued. I've included here all of the numbers for 1999 and all the way through May of 2000. You can see that there is a steady increase in the number of AS numbers that we're issuing on a monthly basis. If you look at last year's total of 1,685, and then you look at the total of 1,145 through May, we're trending to almost double in half a year what we did the full year last year. ISP request for IPv4 address space has also increased over the years. In 1998, we received 900 total requests from ISPs for IPv4 address space. In 1999, we received 1,693. It was an 88% increase. And you can see by looking at the months of January through March or May of 2000 that it is still increasing. One note here is approximately 20% of the requests that ARIN receives from ISPs for address space do not ultimately reach approval status. That's for various different reasons. Usually organizations requesting a block of addresses smaller than ARIN's minimum allocation size of /20, or organizations that can't meet our current criteria found at our website. IPv4 space issued, and I've measured this by /24. You can see in 1999 what we issued, and in 2000 what we issued so far. In 98, I don't have the numbers listed here, but we issued 77% of a /8. In 1999, we issued 129% of a /8, more than a /8. And we're trending to perhaps meet or go well beyond that this year. ARIN block utilization. These are ARIN's most recently utilized blocks, the blocks we make our allocations out of. The 216 network, 64 network, and 63 network. Now I've got three different colors here: percent issued, percent reserved, and percent available. The percent issued are those that are actually in our WHOIS database that we've issued to organizations. The percent reserved are reservations that we hold for those ISP organizations. We do our best to hold reservations for organizations so that future allocations can be contiguous. And you can see in network 216, 67% has been issued, and we have 33% in reserve. You can see similar for network 63. And in network 64, our most recently allocated block from the IANA, we have 25% of that remaining. One note about the reservations that we make. We like to make reservations based on what we feel an organization's one-year needs would be. If we make a reservation for an organization and after 1 year they do not come back and justify that additional address space, we remove that reservation and we allocate that address space to other organizations to meet their needs. I talked a little bit earlier about the registration call center that we have at ARIN. We receive quite a few phone calls each week. We answer calls about filling out our templates, what the criteria are for requesting address space, just a little bit of clarification of what's already found on our website, and we're glad to always answer those questions. We also answer questions anyone that has concerns about a ticket that they have open with us. In 1998, we had just over 9,000 calls, and we had a 74% increase in 99 to above 15,000 calls. And it doesn't appear that in the year 2000, January through May, that we're trending to beat last year's numbers. Just another note, average call time is about 3 minutes on each one of these calls. Community interaction. ARIN communicates with our region via public mailing lists. We read the analog mailing lists. We have our own mailing lists and things of that sort. We also attend meetings where we find the internet community within our region, and also we attend meetings elsewhere in the world for registry cooperation, so we know what's going on in the other regions of the world. We have the ARIN Public Policy member meetings twice a year, where you go to NANOG IETF. We attend the RIPE meetings, APNIC meetings, and APRICOT. Most recently, there was a AFNOG and APRINIC meeting. We attended that. And in the future, when there are LACNIC meetings, I'm sure we'll attend those as well. And also ICANN and ICANN ASO related meetings. And the other here, on occasion, state consortiums, ISP consortiums will approach us and ask us to attend one of their meetings and give a small presentation on registration policy. And each time we receive that request, we've gone and we've done so as well. Public mailing list. Here's a grouping of some of the mailing lists that we offer at ARIN, and you can visit this URL here and find more information about our mailing lists, how to subscribe, how to easily unsubscribe, and there's also archives listed there if you'd like to read what's gone on over the last year or so. And some recent public mailing list discussions, if anyone isn't currently subscribed and would like to. In the Community Learning and Education Working Group, we're discussing topics that should be included in upcoming training materials we had talked about earlier, where we had discussed in April at the member meeting, or a public policy meeting. Also on the public policy mailing list, there's been some recent discussion about ARIN's registration transfer policies and how they could possibly be changed. And some priorities over the near term for ARIN. In registration services, the development of new tools to aid host masters in daily activities, makes more efficient in processing your requests, and to increase the level of customer service, and that's an ongoing thing there in registration services. Membership services is currently working on the development of the external training materials that I had just talked about, and engineering is in the midst of a database and software redesign for ARIN. And you can find more information out about that as it was discussed in April at our member meeting minutes at the URL I listed before. I think I have about 3 or 4 minutes left. For 3 minutes I can answer questions, and if it goes beyond that, I'll make myself available in the foyer behind this room for anyone's questions. Are there any questions at this time? Yes.
Yeah, you mentioned that there's a big jump of the AS number
yes.
requirement. Do you know what kind of organization asks for AS number? I mean, I just want to find if there's a trend. Is it more multi-home sites?
It's more multi-home sites. Almost every AS number request we receive are for organizations becoming multi-homed.
Okay, sure. Thanks.
You're welcome.
Kevin Ober from ESNet. I just promised you yesterday that I would come up and let people know that yes, you really do have delegations. By my count, there's 8 delegations to 4 different organizations in the IPv6 namespace. And yesterday I said it wasn't there. I just can't count bits is the only problem. It's really there.
Thank you, Kevin. I appreciate that. The next block that ARIN receives, we're going to be requesting our next /8 from the IANA very shortly, so it hasn't been identified yet.
How many of the largest /13 blocks have you issued in the last year?
Speaking about increasing our maximum allocation size from a /14 to a /13, we just did that recently, and I don't have exact statistics on that, but I believe that there may have been 2 or 3 over the last 2 months. Okay, if there are no other questions at this time, I'd like to thank you very much for your time.